time is the harm for these rotten remakes, proving that some movies are so nice, no need to make them twice. Honestly, there are so many remakes these days, it's kind of hard to keep count, especially in the horror genre. I mean, why do we insist on remaking so many international films when they're great on their own?
Hello?
How are the children?
Each of the critically trash films on this list scored less than 10% on the Tomatometer, so these are the biggest misses among misguided movie ventures. So brace yourselves, friends, as we count down the worst reviewed remakes ever. Number 10, When a Stranger Calls. Far away from the site of a gruesome murder, a teenager named Jill Johnson arrives at a luxurious home for a babysitting job. When the children are fast asleep, she settles in for what she expects to be an ordinary evening. Soon, the phone rings, and the frightening words of a sadistic caller turn Jill's routine experience into a night of terror. Starring Camilla Bell, Tommy Flanagan, Tessa Thompson, and directed by Simon West. Critics say When a Stranger Calls ranks among the more misguided remakes in horror history, offering little more than a rote, largely fright-free update to the original.
Rosa? Stop calling
Jill,
me, you
listen
sick...
to me. We traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. You hear me? It's coming from inside the house. You need to get out of there right now. Jill?
Number 9, Bangkok Dangerous. Remorseless assassin Joe is in Thailand to complete a series of contract killings for a crime boss called Sarit. Now, he hires a street punk named Khan to run errands for him, all the while planning to kill the youth at the conclusion of his assignment. Instead, Joe becomes Khan's unlikely mentor and begins a tentative romance with the local shop girl. But as Joe begins to let his guard down, Sarit decides it's time to clean house. Starring Nicolas Cage, Shakrit Yamnarm, Charlie Young, and directed by Oxide and Danny Pang. Critics say with murky cinematography, a meandering pace, a dull storyline, and rather wooden performances, the Pang brothers' Hollywood remake of Bangkok Dangerous is unsuccessful. Number 8, Yours, Mine, and Ours. When Coast Guard Admiral Frank Beardsley decides to move his family of 8 children back to his old hometown, he encounters handbag designer Helen North, an old flame from high school. Immediately, sparks fly between the two, and marriage is proposed. But Frank isn't the only one with kids to worry about. Helen has a total of 10. And together, they decide to sabotage their parents' relationship. Starring Dennis Quaid, Rene Russo, Danielle Panabaker, and directed by Raja Gosnell. Critics say the initial setup for Yours, Mine, and 7 hours is unbelievable. The plotting is predictable and stale, and the comedy depends on repetitive pratfalls that soon get old.
We are all going to sail it, working together like the many tentacles of an octopus guided by one brain.
My children have separate brains, Frank.
It's just a figure of speech.
No, it isn't.
Hey, trust me. 1 hour, at sea together, gonna be best friends.
Okay, prepare to come about. Coming about. Come what? Wasn't anybody listening when I gave my briefing about standard nautical procedure?
I have sunscreen in my eyes, sweetie.
Oh, well, let's go below. We'll wash it out. William, take the wheel.
Aye, sir.
Mrs. Munyon, you have the kids.
No problem.
Get that camera away from me.
But I'm capturing the verity of life at sea.
How about capturing my fist in your face?
Hey,
Whoa! Not water, Peter's pants! No, I didn't. That's just water. It doesn't smell like water. I'm gonna go tell our dad. I'm gonna tell my mom.
Number 7, Jacob's Ladder. After losing his brother in combat, Jacob Singer returns home from Afghanistan, only to be pulled into a mind-twisting state of paranoia. Singer soon realizes that his sibling is alive, but life is not what it seems. Starring Michael Ealy, Jesse Williams, Nicole Behair, and directed by David M. Rosenthal. Critics say a needless remake that quickly loses sight of the themes that elevated the original. This is a Jacob's Ladder that leads straight to nowhere.
What do you want?
Better keep your mouth shut.
Number 6, Swept Away. Imagine being shipwrecked on a beautiful island with someone you just really can't stand. A young soldier is cast adrift on an island with his employer, a rich, self-centered woman who is used to having her own way. Cut off from society, he reverses their roles, stripping her of pride and vanity, and controlling her completely, until, that is, she falls in love with him. Starring Madonna, Adriano Gianni, Jean Triplehorn, and directed by Guy Ritchie. Critics say muddled and lacking the political context of the original, Swept Away offers further proof that Madonna can't act.
The advantages of chemicals are all around us.
Ugh, do we have to listen to that again? 4,000.
Hold on, what happened? We were playing for $28 and now it's 4,000.
What's the problem, Michael? Don't you think I'm good for it?
Tony, can't you control your wife?
Can't you control yours?
It's changed the atmosphere just a little.
You're supposed to be Mr. Moneybags, Michael.
I am supposed to be on vacation.
Stop being such a pussy, Michael. Come on. If you haven't got money, I'll take jewelry and shoes.
That's enough, I fold. I have no interest in playing Get Quick with Mel DeMarcos here.
Guido,
Yes, Mother?
when you've put that reptile down, can you empty the ashtrays? Thank you.
So go on. Chemicals. Advantages.
Where would we be without fertilizers and pesticides?
Well, you should ask Pepe. He was a full-time fisherman till pollution put an end to that.
Pollution is so terrible.
Oh, God. This isn't a sad story, is it?
Ask him what he thinks about chemicals.
Nothing wrong with chemicals.
Well, Pepe, what do you think about it? What do you think about fertilizers and pesticides.
Whatever.
Number 5, the fog. The prosperous town of Antonio Bay, Oregon, is born in blood, as the town's founders get their money by murdering a colony of lepers. But the truth of what they did is concealed from subsequent generations. More than 100 years later, Elizabeth Williams, whose family lives in Antonio Bay, returns just as a statue in tribute to the founders is to be unveiled. Now, when a mysterious fog rolls in, Elizabeth and her boyfriend soon discover it has vengeful supernatural powers. Starring Tom Welling, Maggie Grace, Selma Blair, and directed by Rupert Wainwright. Critics say The Fog is a so-so remake of a so-so movie, lacking scares, suspense, or originality. Number 4, Flatliners. 5 medical students embark on a daring and dangerous experiment to gain insight into the mystery of what lies beyond the confines of life. The bold adventure begins when they trigger near-death experiences by stopping their hearts for short periods of time. Now, as their trials become more perilous, each must confront the sins from their past while facing the paranormal consequences of journeying to the other side. Starring Elliot Page, Diego Luna, Nina Dobrev, and directed by Niels Arden Oplev. Critics say Flatliners falls flat as a horror movie and fails to improve upon its source material, rendering this reboot dead on arrival.
Let's get it off. Help me. Vivian. Go! Courtney, can you hear me?
You're crazy, you know that?
Number 3, Kite. With the help of her father's ex-partner and a friend from her past, an orphan teen mercilessly blasts her way through a dark milieu in pursuit of her parents' killers. Starring India Isley, Callan McAuliffe, Samuel L. Jackson, and directed by Ralph Simon. Kyle Smith from the New York Post says, "A kill-a-minute gore-a-thon whose twist is so obvious your Grandma Edna will see it coming. Kite never gets off the ground."
You okay? Let's get the girls and get out of here.
Naima?
Come on.
Yo, chummy. Take the girls.
Get behind me.
The littles we promised to Staggy. You want one? You cash with him.
Who is Staggy?
Staggy Stains. Tell you what, eh? You come back later. They got one eye. He cash you cheap.
What do you mean, one eye?
Just like Staggy. He make them look like he got.
So,
no more pretty face, hey?
we're out of time, Showa. Okay, come on. Let's go. Showa! Showa!
Number 2, cabin fever. Fresh out of college, 5 friends face the horrors of a flesh-eating virus while staying at a remote cabin. Starring Nadine Crocker, Matthew Daddario, Samuel Davis, and directed by Travis Z. Critics say, no need to quarantine for cabin fever. Enthusiasm for this inert remake is not contagious.
Fucking Bert. Bert! Bert! I fucking told you! Told you, Bert! I told you Bert's name! I fucking made it! I fucking made it! I fucking made it! I fucking made it! I'm alive.
And of course, before we reveal number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Shudder. Photographer Ben and his new bride Jane turn their honeymoon into a working vacation when he snags a prestigious assignment in Japan. Now, as they make their way up a mountain road at night, they slam into a woman who suddenly appears in their path. Unable to find her body, Ben and Jane continue onward. Soon, eerie reminders of the accident emerge when Ben sees ghostly images in the photographs that he develops. Starring Joshua Jackson, Rachel Taylor, Megumi Okina, and directed by Masayuki Ochiai. Critics say being a remake of a Thai horror film instead of Japanese doesn't prevent Shudder from being another lame Asian horror remake.
Stop!
Martyrs! With help from a friend, a tormented woman tracks down the family that imprisoned and tortured her when she was a child. Starring Troyan Belisario, Bailey Noble, Kate Burton, and directed by Kevin and Michael Goetz. Critics say Martyrs flays off everything that gave the original its icy, horrific beauty, leaving us an empty, pointless remake.
I did it! It's over!
And finally, number 1, one missed call. When Beth Raymond witnesses the deaths of 2 friends, she knows there's more at work than just a tragic coincidence. Days before they die, both victims hear their terrifying final moments on cell phones. Now, though the police think Beth is crazy, Detective Jack Andrews believes her. Together, the pair try to unravel the mystery behind the horrifying messages before their own phone numbers come up. Starring Shannon Sossaman, Ed Burns, Ana Claudia Talancon, and directed by Eric Villette. Critics say one of the weakest entries in the J-horror remake sweepstakes, One Missed Call is undone by bland performances and shop-worn shocks.
Luna? Luna?
Well, friends, that about does it for us. Be sure to stay tuned to the Rotten Tomatoes channel for more of the entertainment content you love and for even more news, scores, and recommendations on the latest TV shows and movies. Go to RottenTomatoes.com. Until next time, I am your host, Naz Perez, and we'll see you back here for more Top 10s on the Rotten Tomatoes Countdown.